Bruce Arians goes in on AR5. Golly.
Anthony, I think, needed 2 more years of college. As a passer, not as an athlete. He's a great athlete. But as a passer, I didn't see him coming out being able to beat anybody in 2 minute and third down. And that's where you win in the NFL. If you can't win third down in 2 minutes, you're just an average guy. And I don't care how good you run. You don't run the ball in 2 minutes. As a quarterback, you throw it.
Obviously, nowadays, everybody might be like, oh, you hating. But is he speaking real? Is Bruce Arians speaking real about Anthony Richardson in the way that his game is right now?
He can learn it. He can learn it. I think that really comes down to the coach's philosophy and understanding the personnel, and it's a comfort thing too. And he has to be willing to get better at that. Now, athlete, he's elite. But even being an athlete running the football, you got to be smart, bro. You can't bowl over everybody in this league, bro. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. And at that position, you can slide and slide. Now, with throwing the football, it comes down to personnel and philosophy.
Okay.
Those 2 P's, right? That's not an F pick.
I already know.
Right?
You got me shot.
Personnel and philosophy. With your personnel, I think what the Carolina Panthers realized with me is we got to get Cam some big receivers.
Okay.
A la Kelvin Benjamin, a la Devin Funchess. Greg Olsen was 6'6". See what I'm saying? And putting that personnel around your franchise guy will assist in that matter. Right? Now, and help me out with this.
Yes, sir.
A lot of times in this industry of content and in media, being a former player, what's your take? And there's a follow-up from there with what Coach Arians said.
I agree with BA. The concern that I had with AR, and I think this is more about the organization with the Colts than Anthony Richardson as a player. They mismanaged this entire situation. He only had 13 starts in college football.
That's true.
In those 13 starts, he wasn't playing like Cam Ward. He wasn't playing like Shedeur Sanders. So clearly he was raw. So they needed to exercise patience when you drafted him top 5. What they did was drafted a quarterback that lacked experience, lacked reps, and gave him the keys to the car.
That's true. He didn't have a license.
He didn't even have a permit. Gave him the keys to say, drive us to the promised land, get us home.
That's true.
Can't. He don't know how to drive. He hasn't seen enough of it. So then when you throw him into that fire and he doesn't excel, now you're ready to go ahead and move on. And that's what they're doing right now with Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
They brought Daniel Jones in there to take the keys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or to nudge him.
Or to nudge him. But I felt like year 1 for Anthony Richardson, because he was so raw, allow him to see it from afar.
Yeah.
You saw what Drake May happened with Drake May with the Patriots.
Yes.
He wasn't day 1 starter.
Correct.
Yeah.
He didn't need to be.
Yeah. That's right.
They allowed Jacoby Brissett to be the guy, and then he took the wheels and he managed the system fairly well.
So 2 things that I want to bring up here is the game has changed, though, Mac. In the idea of every franchise is looking for the C.J. Stroud, the
Jaden
Daniels.
the RG3, the Andrew Luck. We want instant impact
Right now.
Yeah.
yesterday. You dig what I'm saying? And it's not realistic. It doesn't always go that way.
Yeah.
And it's not realistic for players to come in with this much pressure, because what Jaden Daniels was able to do is something that probably will never be done again. It was that successful where he's like, bro, he got a playoff win and he was 1 game away. Man. But CJ Stroud did it the year before. But the reality of it all is whether he was prepared or not, because some looked at my career and said he only got 14 games as a, major college football.
That's true.
But I was willing, and my circumstance was.
And Cam, you were different. That 14 game, you took him there.
Yeah, you took him. Yeah,
took
you
him.
won. Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? So when I looked at,
he was unproven.
Anthony Richardson, man, and let's be real, Cam.
Talk to me nice.
If Anthony Richardson does not run that 4.53, he's not a top 10 pick. They drafted him based on the athleticism,
Upside.
the upside, and
the
we can make
potential.
him into something else that he's not right now.
Yeah.
Well, that could be true, but you have to be willing to exercise patience.
That's true.
Because he wasn't a dominant player in the SEC East, better yet, the entire SEC when he was in college.
So if you're willing to draft off of potential, you got to exercise patience.
Patience.
Yeah.
It's going to take time.
And have a plan.
There you go.
Yeah.
A lot of teams draft without a plan.
Yeah.
They draft with the anticipation that you're a day one. A lot of guys aren't day one starters.
Yeah.
Newsflash,
No.
there's a lot of quarterbacks in this draft that's going to be
will
picked
not.
high that are not day one starters.
Yeah.
And it's not because of their skill set, it's because of them understanding the game.
They're just not ready.
It's just not ready
Yeah.
yet, right? Now, my next question to you is, being a former player, do you ever catch flack from players, current players, with the, oh man, you hating? And how do you handle it?
Look, sometimes. But my rebuttal to that is this. Anytime I'm giving an analysis on a player that I might know of, or a player who I don't know, I always exercise respect first. I'm talking about the game.
Not you as a person.
Because when we played the game, Cam, there was a lot of times I had to look in the mirror and say, man, I sucked this
Yeah.
past Sunday.
That
Well, that
wasn't
fourth
good.
quarter was tough on me.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do any right.
It's tough on me.
Oh, man, it's hot outside. I can't cover nobody. I can't make no tackles.
He got
it
me.
happens. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
But then you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, I wasn't at my best. And our job as former players, when we talk about players, we got to exercise respect, but also talk about what you did not do that was right.
Right.
Then we're going to applaud you when you do ball out.
For sure.
That's true.
But I think a lot of analysts, Cam, and you can contest to this as well, they just talk off the wall talk. There's
for
no
sure.
respect involved.
But players will receive their flack. And as former players, when we say certain things, it's like, no, but you're supposed to be on our side. I think now I never gave the respect that I did in my early part that I did for my latter part, with realizing like, yo, you got a job to do. We're content creators. No, don't matter if you with Fox, CBS, ESPN, Disney, FanDuel, Dual Fan, Prize Pick, bro, you got a job to do is create the best content as possible. And I love that former athletes are getting the platform to speak on it, right? But when you're trying to do your job and you got more validity with your words because you did play this game, you did prepare for this game, you did win in this game, you did lose in this game. When the recipient of what you're talking about hears it, it's almost like, oh, bro, but he an old nigga. He mad.
Yeah. He the unk on the port.
He Uncle Scrooge.
Yeah.
Gone. And it's like, bro, I got mad love for everybody because I know what it goes into. But exercising respect and also exercising real. Like, bro, we all got them games that be like,
Oh, no question. You could be a special teams player and have them games with, boy, I don't want to watch this tape on Monday.
There you go, man. Here we go. And I ask everybody, man, I got a job to do.
But I want to ask one thing, though. Even when you all was talking about Daniel Jones, they brought him in, but even for AR to really grow, like he's not a proven winner. Like, I don't know how much now he could teach him about being able to manage the scrutiny, obviously coming from the Giants, but with that situation, what were you thinking the Colts was trying to do with bringing Daniel Jones in?
They're trying to recreate a Sam Darnold type situation with Minnesota. Because even though Daniel Jones have been overly criticized, and he's another player, in my opinion, guys, I feel like he was overdrafted. Because when he came out of Duke years ago, he wasn't the best quarterback in the ACC.
Yeah.
But because
his coach got
David
him drafted.
Cutcliffe. Yep. And because his word was the ultimate law, it helped him get to where he was with the Giants. But I believe Daniel Jones will be in a position to win this job because he has more football. He's played more football.
More reps.
And if you look at this quarterback competition, I ask both of you guys the same question. Who has more pressure, Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones?
Anthony Richardson.
And yeah, for sure.
And it may fold. Like, real talk. Like, if I'm Anthony Richardson going into this offseason, bro, I'm really building relationships first with myself, taking myself through these situations like, yo, we 0-3. How would I react? That fear will spark a drive in me like no other. And also understanding, like, how can I build relationships with my personnel? Tight ends, running back, center, guard, tackle, coach, GM, and ask the honest questions like, where do I need to get better at? No holds barred. Where do I need to get better at? Because nobody's questioning his talent, his upside.
No question. You're right.
But you in year 3, dog. It's been folks that's been cut sooner than that.
That's fair.
The worst thing that a rookie can do come into this league and say this, utter these words, speak of this madness. I got time.
No, you don't.
If you got that mentality, you're going to be sitting down.
Yeah.
You hear me? So whether you want to accept it or not, Anthony Richardson, you got to do better. But this is the thing. I know he can do better. But is he, though? Because that work still has to translate. You can have an unbelievable OTAs, you can have an unbelievable training camp, but it's still going to come down to when the rubber meet the road, week 1.
What you going to do?
How many times, Matt, you done seen folks like, ooh, oh, he ready. He get out there in that 45, 50,000, 60, 70,000, 80,000. And bruh, well, what my dad used to say, but you're down, you're out there hockeying down your leg. You know what I'm saying? It get tough, bro. That pressure is real.
No question.